Avenged Sevenfold are back with a vengeance. The new album, Life Is But a Dream, is just around the corner, and here is Johnny Christ to tell us why it took over 4 years to make it.
Well, I mean, there were several roadblocks that we had to get by. One of the biggest ones is the one that everyone knows about is the pandemic. Unfortunately, we got off the road in 2018, just like any other time, and a little abruptly. Our singer had some vocal issues, but just like any other time, we decided, okay, let's just take a couple months off. We just got home. Let's see friends and family for a little bit, start to figure out what our muse is going to be. That was my son. What my muse was going to be, or what we want to create on the new record. And we start those conversations, and we start writing individually, and then we start bringing it all together. And that process was going well. It took a little bit, about the same time as it usually does, maybe a little longer. It was a little over a year that by the time we were ready to take our demos and re-record them into the record forms that we do. And that was right about the time we were scheduling with Joe Barresi studio time, and the whole world shut down. So we were like, well, I guess we're going to take a little bit longer on this. You find the silver linings when shit like that goes down, right? So the silver lining is we all have young kids now, young families. So we were stay-at-home dads for a lot of it for the last 5 years, which is really cool. I got to take my son to all of his practices and games and everything in school and the whole nine. And, and then unfortunately, it's not like you want a pandemic to happen, but it gave us a new perspective on the record that we were about ready to go record. And, it gave us time to continue to trim the fat, if that makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of information on this record. It's a lot, but time wise, it's our shortest record we've ever put out.
Okay.
So it feels like you've gotten all this information, but we trimmed all the fat. I mean, we did that over a process, and we really those delays allowed us time to experiment with our instruments, our new technology, what's going on out there. I mean, we did some really fun stuff that people wouldn't even know, that you wouldn't even hear it. You wouldn't understand, like, oh, they must have programmed that. We didn't program really anything on this record. It's all live playing, like even down to the flutes. Sinister Gates played flutes. It was a really wild time just to get in there, like a record that would have been made in the 70s or 80s, but with this sound. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, because I wonder how much technology drives what we hear on the record these days, especially with a band like yours.
It's this time around. It definitely. I mean, we always do because we like to experiment. Like we're in a studio. Like, what if we can make the guitars sound like blah? Whatever. Fill in the blank. And it's like, and nowadays there's easier avenues to do that. But there's also guys like Joe Barresi, our producer on it, that loves to tinker and toil with all of his pedals. I mean, this guy has so much equipment from all of the years of him making incredible records over the years, and he loves to just pull out a pedal or a synth thing or an old Moog. He's like, well, what if we put a guitar through the Moog? What would that sound like? And just like fun little experiments, and most of them don't work, but the ones that do sound awesome.
Right, gotcha. So there's some kind of a concept around this. It involves Camus and existentialism and all that kind of stuff. So without going too far deep in it, how much conversation does you guys have as a band have about what that's going to look like and sound like? Yeah,
well, I mean, we are definitely collective on that, on the concepts and what it is. Of course, Matt is the main lyricist. He writes, like 99.9% of the lyrics, but ask for some help here and there on specific words, maybe. But overall, that was part of the silver linings of this record getting delayed a little bit too. Is it gave us time to get a different perspective and strip ourselves of our egos and really dive into something, that existential crisis that we were all experiencing. And we all went through it in different ways, just like every other human being. But at the end of it, we all came back, and we couldn't have been more pumped to be a band together and living our lives together. And it's just such an awesome feeling to be in this band right now on a personal level, that we're just like clicking on all cylinders. We're loving each other, as impossibly as it sounds for me to hear myself say, with more love and passion than ever before, because it's always been there. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
And it's just great. So that the existential philosophies are something that we've all discussed over the last 5 years while we've been writing this record. We all share each other books and audio tapes and all that kind of stuff on these very subjects and philosophies. And that's how we had that concept of the stage about being like more AI, planetary ideas. We were looking at technology and everything, and that was our focus. That was our muse. This time it was existential absurdism and nothingness philosophies, and that's just we all feel that and discuss that. So
Right.
It naturally just comes out in our music, because our music has always been just an extension of us. We wear it on our sleeves. I mean, that's why you could hear all of our influences throughout our entire career. And
Right.
we just put it in and make it part of our own DNA and make it who we are along
Gotcha.
the way.
I know you've released a couple of tracks in advance of the release. I've had a chance
Right.
to listen to the whole thing. One that folks would probably have heard is a tune called Nobody, because you made a video. And
Yep.
so maybe elaborate on that. It sounds like the orchestra is on that guy, and there's a pretty wild guitar solo happening. So
yeah, and the song with the long instrumental part, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that song was one of the songs that I heard on the record for like when we were demoing out, and I think the consensus was like that's going to be our quote unquote single. I don't think there's a traditional single on this
Right.
record. I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
more. I think that this is more of a piece of music as a whole, so it's hard to pick out a single per
Yep.
se in the traditional sense. But this song was a strong foot forward of letting people know what this record is about. You know what I mean? What is the concept? What is the overarching thing? Although it doesn't sound like any of the other songs on it, it's like your first like dipping of the toes. Like, get ready for this. This is an experience. This isn't just music to us. To us, it is an experience, and we hope everyone gets the same experience we do, because we love it. We're proud of it. And nobody was that first foot forward from day one. I mean, when I heard Brian do that riff on the Fractally with all the harmonizers on it, and just bending one note just a few cents and then coming back, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that hits hard, dude. That's too good. That is too
Right.
good. We got to do something with that. And yeah, and then there's Toil and Matt and Brian come together and start really putting together that song, and then we come together at the end again too. And then having those orchestrations, like I was talking about, I think in another interview here, we had a 72-piece orchestra
Right.
at
Yeah.
at Sony Studios, and it's the same room that John Williams uses for all the Star Wars stuff. In fact,
Gotcha.
he was there the night before. We actually got pushed. John Williams pushed us, that son of a bitch. He pushed us one day late on our thing. So if there's delay to the record, blame John Williams.
I will.
He had it. We're huge fans of John Williams. That's why I make the joke. And obviously,
Yep.
He's a legend. So he's in the room. You go, okay, we can wait a day. So yeah. So we were in the same room, and it has a very distinct sound. I have been in different rooms. We've been in many legendary rooms and done stuff, but it does hit different in that room. Like the 72-piece orchestra there, it sounds like Star Wars. And if you take just those tracks away and don't have the rest of us there,
Yep.
it just has that feeling of a Star Wars thing. Even you're not playing those notes, it just has that feeling, right?
Yep.
And it's just that room, and it's so iconic, and we're so grateful we were able to have that room, and finally, we had to wait a long time to get that many players together after the pandemic because of the unions and everything.
Like 70 pieces, yeah.
Yeah. So once we were able to do that, they're on that part. They make appearance on some other songs as well later in the album.
Yep.
But yeah, we've always had orchestrations, and we're big fans of all these composers that we've listened to over the years, and I think it's another one of our muses that we wear on our sleeves. We're huge classical music fans.
Now, I was wondering if one of your influence muses was Frank Zappa, because there's a track that hasn't been released yet.
Titties and beer, titties and beer, titties and beer.
Yeah, exactly. There's a track, is it called Six? Which has kind of a jazzy kind of vibe to it, but then it kind of went into Zappa mode, I thought. So
yeah, there's a few Zappa moments on this record. I feel like for me, it definitely shows through in tracks like G, as part of the trilogy.
G, that's
G-O-D
it.
at the end of it. It's all good. It spells out God on the records. It's G-O-D, and the songs go into each other.
Yes.
That's just a fun song for me. Like I loved when I heard it from Matt and Brian the first time. I was just like, this is it, man. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but this is it. Like, the demos did not sound like the finished product. Let me tell you, I had to wrap my head around that song for quite a while before I was all in. And then, but yeah, Zappa is definitely a big influence. Actually, Sinister Gates, our lead guitar player's father, Brian Hayner Sr., played session for Zappa, and I believe he even played some shows. So
so that's
heavy influences going
definitely
on.
Heavy. Yeah. So your next show is what, in Daytona Beach a couple of days from now?
Yep, we'll be at Daytona Beach, Florida. Yep, looking forward to it.
Yeah,
be our first big show back. We did that underplay in Las Vegas with 3,000 people. That was just to get our sea legs back, say hi to the fans. We had that really cool thing going on, the immersive experience over at Area 15 in Las Vegas. Just so happened that's where we were going to be doing our rehearsals as well. And the stars just aligned for us to go, yep, that's the place to do our first show back. So we got that one under our belts. Now we're going to go from 3,000 people to 80,000 plus, I believe is the count. So it's going to be a little bit different, like let's just throw ourselves into the fire. Let's go,
Yeah, and it's been a while since you played in front of that many people because of everything that's gone on in between. Are you a different? Do you look at yourselves as a different band 5 years between shows like that? And it's like
yes and no. I mean, yes and no. I mean, we're all a little older,
Yep. Yeah.
We're all dads. We're all rocking. We're all dads out there and rocking now.
Yep.
But I mean, in so many other ways, even that first show back, I was worried that it would feel different, and so much of it felt the same. It just was like it was just that. I find such peace and joy from being on the stage with my fans. I think that is my purpose in life, is to be a performer on the stage. And after not being able to do it for so long, and to be able to come back, it's a surreal feeling, and I couldn't be happier at this moment. And I can't wait to see what it feels like for the big shows again, like the 80,000 pluses and stuff of these festivals. And I'm like, I don't even know what the count's going to be. I can't wait, because we've played those shows before where you just literally can't see the end of the sea of people, and it's just the energy from that. It's not about the visuals; it's the energy you feel from that. It's so different, and we just want to make sure that every single person there is having a good time and enjoying what we're doing, because that's what we're there to do.
Right. Well, it sounds like you're doing it. Finally, again. Very excited.
Yes, finally, indeed. My son's going to see it for the first time. He's 6 years old. So,
oh my God!
Last time he saw Daddy play, he was about 6 months old.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of memories there, probably.
Yeah, doesn't remember much about it. I don't think so. Yeah,
you're gonna blow his little mind.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. It just personally, I just want him to know that, like, I want him to be proud of me, because I'm proud of him. Yeah, so I want him to be proud of me.
Very good. Well, hopefully he can come down this part of the world at some point and
I'd love to. I got to take him. He's a big Jurassic Park fan. I know some of that stuff was filmed out there. So I got to get him out there. Get him out there.
You introduce him to Sam Neill. He'll be around somewhere. He's a Kiwi.
He's just always there.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would love. Yep, put it on the list.
And I think he runs a winery, so it'll work for both of you.
Oh, fantastic. Well, my son did actually have his first sip of wine last night. Don't tell anyone.
No,
except for everyone listening to this right now. Except for everyone listening right now. No, just like he was like curious. I was like, sure, have a little sip. And he was like, oh, it's good. And I was like, you're not making a face that says it's good. And
Yeah.
And I don't really want you to think it tastes good this young either. So let's leave it alone.
Fair enough. Yeah, the time will come.
Right.
Yeah. Very good. All righty. Well, thank you so much for taking time to talk to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Marty.
Good
I
luck
love your
with the.
setup back there, by the way. I'm just checking out all your records.
Oh,
You've
yeah, I got a few.
player, your camera work over there, the mic stands. This is a cool setup you got going on.
And check this
there,
thing
man.
out. This is in my ceiling. It's like a dome.
Oh, whoa. That is killer.
So
What
yeah,
a cool studio you got there, man.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh, thank you. Come around and hang out.
I would love to.
Play
Next
some
time I'm in Auckland, for sure.
All right. Very good. Thank you very much.
All right, see you, Marty.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.